Hello everybody. Yeah, welcome. Getting a little few responses already from the Necromancer, our little spirit gadget. Now some of them seem completely random, but every now and then you get something that you just really can't explain. Where am I tonight? In the middle of nowhere. And yet, to a lot of people, it's part of heaven fields. Now that sounds otherworldly, obviously something put together by believers of a very strong Christian faith here in the north. Saint Oswald, way back in the day, had a vision, and he had a lot of visions, and a lot of them were really quite strange and stupid, but he had one vision that there would be a mighty battle here beside Chollerford. Chollerford's about a mile that way. And St. Oswald said that, he was just Oswald at the time, Oswald said there will be a great battle where the people of the north will be outnumbered 3-1, but shall rise victorious, for the hand of God is with them. And he was right. And this is part of heaven fields. Come with me. Let's take a walk to far, far into history here tonight on The Ghost Historian, taking you back to Roman times in two places. We've got a lot to fit in. Tony, in you come. And we've got a limited amount of time to do it, so let's get to it. Now, the walkway leading down here, and I think if you talk about, well, where are these heavenly fields? This wood here is said to be haunted. A few people have commented on this to me in the past. Never been in it. We might take a little look on the way back if we've got time. But it's this small track that links back to Chollerford, and the George Hotel is about a mile that way. It's further than you think, isn't it, Tony? And I walked straight into a tree branch, and I've already knocked the skin off the top of my head halfway along, so I'll be watching for that on the way back. But this is a river crossing, a Roman monument that the part of it still exists. Now we're going to another Roman monument a bit later where we'll have all of our kit out there, but I wanted you to see this because it really is quite special, and there's a couple of ghost stories attached to it. Now if you listen, you can probably hear the sound of running water. Now I had hoped to get over there to the weir, but it's all fenced off, which is absolutely tragic, because the weir inadvertently plays a big part in tonight's story, because it's a story not just of ancient history, but of incredible flooding. Caution, hidden, deep water. And here we are. How about this? Amazing. This is the second Chester's Bridge. Oh, look at this. This is rather grand. Now, Chester's Fort is massive. You can go to the museum. You can go and see all of the artifacts. And this is on the opposite side of the river. A place where some tourists go, but many fewer than should. And we've got to be a little bit careful because the ground beneath our feet is very, very unstable. Now there should be water courses. Oh, blimey, look at that. Wow. Look at this. This is amazing. Oh, I didn't expect this. Come and have a look down there.
Caved in. What's this?
This is the abutment. Oh. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, and be careful, because under the grass, there's an awful lot of water too. This is the part of a bridge structure that crossed the river here, and troops piled across to begin building Hadrian's Wall. They piled across the bridge, and it was Roman bridge building that really was the difference between a lot of the other warriors of the day, because other warriors would struggle. You know, you'd have a group of 50 men trying to get across a river, and the water would be dragging them down, drowning some of them. And the Romans set upon grabbing local tradesmen, forced them to build a massive bridge, and they didn't stop till it was built. Not like the A1 in the north, where they've been working on it for probably since the Romans. But look at this. This is just incredible, and it's said to be haunted. There are stories here of Roman figures that have regularly been seen here. When I was putting together, oh, look at this. That is surprisingly deep.
Yeah.
Down there, be careful.
The moss is slippy, so
Yeah,
be careful there.
absolutely.
Off there.
Well, we're going to go around and down to the riverside in a second. Can you see over there, Tony? There's more bits of bridge. Now, the story of this place is a juicy one. You know, I mentioned St. Oswald declaring that there was going to be a battle. Well, around the time that he made that prediction, there was a battle about every 2 days. So you could easily say, I think there's going to be a battle this week, because there would have been a battle that week. But this battle that took place here and around all of Chollerford was an interesting one, because it was two separate tribes linking up. The Welsh, and you'd think, why would the Welsh want to come over here? The Welsh and the people that live next door, the Manx and the Merseysiders. And back then, there was a massive tribe called the Mercians. And the leader of Mercia was jealous of Northumberland because of its beautiful rolling countryside. They were also jealous of it because the Romans had left amazing buildings, mansion houses, bridges, very, very straight roads. And the Mercians and the Welsh, one half pagan, one half Christian, but because there was money in it for both of them, they teamed up and headed north to fight the Northumbrian Celts. Now you've got to remember, I keep telling you about the Northumbrian Celts because they were very, very special indeed. They were the ones that were some of the greatest fighters on the planet. Julius Caesar had them in his retinue, and on the only day that he told his retinue he didn't need them was the day he got stabbed et tu, Brute. Alexander the Great fought with Northumbrian Celts in his ranks, which is why I personally think he was so successful. So 3 times the army of the Northumbrians, the Welsh and the Mercians, piled up here, all around this area, where this bridge is, where this river is. And the river's literally just over the next brow of a hill. And it's actually on this brow of the hill where the Roman soldier is regularly seen, along this bankside. So if you see anything, capture it. You never know. We might be lucky. Right the way across on the far bank. And we're going to be going up there in a second. So you've got the Welsh, you've got the Mercians piling here in their thousands. And the Northumbrian Celts fought with such ferocity. Watch the grass there, it's very muddy underneath.
It's the moss as well.
Yeah,
Be careful.
for sure. Well, the Northumbrian Celts were so ferocious, their reputation was so vivid and terrifying that when the Welsh got started doing battle with them, they pretty soon realised that these beasts were unstoppable. Even though they'd been stabbed off a dozen times, they were fighting on and on and on and on, and the Welsh didn't know what hit them. And they turned and they ran from Chollerford, little Chollerford. This is the country of Wales and the entire province of Greater Manchester and Liverpool and surrounds. And they're on their way back, they're legging it back down south. Southern Jessies fought off by the gallant Northumbrians. It's an amazing result. And the Northumbrians decided that they were not prepared to leave it at that. So they said, no, we're going to chase them every step of the way. We're going to wipe them out because they're not coming back to do this again. Northumbria shall remain. Now back then, Northumbria was from south of York all the way up to Edinburgh. That was Northumbria, not just Northumberland. So the Northumbrian Celts chased them, putting them to the sword all the way back, to the degree that the Welsh king, Cadwallon, was hacked to death in the process, and the Welsh would never again try and take Northumbria. Amazing, amazing victory. But we're here also to have a look at kind of Roman history here, and in search of spirit as always. Let's go exactly to where the ghost of that Roman soldier said to walk. It's along here. Even the trees look spectacularly spooky here, like witches' fingers reaching out to try and snare you in. And here we are. Look at this. What stories could that beast tell you? Look at it. You see the water channels as well, carved by the Romans. And here, some more stone from the bridge. A lot of the stone from this part of the world was robbed by the Christian church to build St. Wilfrid's in Hexham. And they've just laid out the other pieces that fell in the river, apparently. Got to be a bit careful because, as Tony says, the moss is slippery. Oh, nearly took me hat off. And there is the river itself, jet black and fast flowing here. Watch your head, Tony. And this is the walkway where the Roman soldiers said to be. So let's place a couple of, check the Necromancer. Don't know whether you'll be able to see any of the river, Tony. It is, absolutely. Have you seen this, Tony? This is where the Roman spirit shows itself. Put the camera down on the water. Have you got it? You might have to get closer. You want you to put the camera down there. Go closer and face it, and then I'll show you a weird kind of phenomenon. I hope the people at home are able to see it. Do you see that? Can you make it out? The image in the water. You're getting it? Sometimes you can see the ghost more commonly in reflection. And here's the reflection of the very bank where the Roman can be seen, reflected in the water. I just wish you could make it out as clearly as we can.
Very calm.
Yeah, but this is where this Roman guy's supposed to be, up here. Look at that. Like a circular stone. And this used to obviously go straight across. Other side of the river is Chester's Fort. Oh, did you hear that? You hear that noise from over there?
I don't know, I just heard the Necromancer there.
Oof. Weird noise just coming from over here. What the hell's that? Some kind of big major shadow on the opposite bank there. If there's anything here, talk to us. Talk to us. Talk to us, come on. This is a creepy part of the world. Even the trees look threatening here. Chester's Bridge abutment. The first bridge to carry the wall across the river to start on Hadrian's Wall. And imagine that's what it looks like. I'll leave it for you, Tony, to capture the image. And if you're wondering where we are, we're there right now. That's where we are. And that's where all of this is. Look at this. Oh, we've got to go along here. I'm going to necromance the whole way. Is this not one of the creepier places we've ever been? Talk to me. Who's there? What's your name? What's your name? Give me a name. What's your name? If anybody at home makes out any of the words here, make sure you tell me and print them in the comments. It's very hard to make out. Oh, look at this. Here since roughly a history, thank you, yes it is. This wall's been here since about 140 AD. This bridge, this wall, and all these waterways. The Romans were the kings of sanitation. Hello. Go straight down there into the depths of the water. Oh, and I'm down now to the water's edge. Oh dear, look at this. How about this? Just seems from, you want to have a walk along there, it's actually really quite good too. You half expect to see something here, don't you? Oh no. Oh, that was, careful Tony, that's a bog here. I know, I saw it. Oh dear. Oh dear. That's a mistake. I'm walking along the wall where that soldier said to be. Breathe, I'm breathing. Tony, behind you. Behind you, Tony. Just saw a little bit of movement in between those two trees there. Can you get in them with your camera or not? All right. I know. What an amazing place this is. Have you still got that paper in the car that I put my feet on last week?
Yeah, I do, yeah.
Because I'm going to need it from behind me.
Oh God. Right at the back of it.
I know, I'm going to have to sit on it. Nightmare, but it is what it is. Right, I'm going to grab the balls. Not a hint here, mind.
No, it's very easy though when you're here.
It is, absolutely. But we got to get back to the car and then we'll head up to the place where we've got a reported ghostly sighting. Let me just switch these off first. That one's got to go off. Right. Sorry?
They're all full of moss, so you have to be careful.
Yeah. Also on the way back we've had a bit of success with multicolours. You know the... So on the way back along that mile-long track, we'll necromance and we'll switch this off for now and we'll try a few different colours. How do we get back from here? Can you remember?
Like round that way somewhere
Okay.
on the outside.
Right. And I'll tell you, you can hear the water running. The light at this time of year is so black that we're not going to be able to see much of the river until we get back to the bridge and look over at the weir. The weir's been built to stage the amount of water that piles down the River Tyne. What's down there? Is that water? Yeah, I'm gonna launch something. I'm just in the mood to get me revenge. Give me a splash. Nature to nature. There you go. It does indeed. No, but you see, I wasn't walking through anything other than leaves. And look at where I went down a foot into the... It was absolutely. Right, let's get back up there. Look at it though. Little hidey holes. Tony, did you see them? This is just a tremendous thing to look at. Yeah, for sure. And it's the last thing you expect to see at the bottom of a farm track. Now we're going to the next place to set everything up, a load of spirit traps. Right, let's head back. Right. Excuse me. you want to walk beside me? We'll knock the... Now watch out for figures on here, everybody. Tony's going to knock... Now, which works better?
I think you can see more on the wide one, definitely.
That one?
Dark, yeah.
Okay.
The blue is good. Just the wide shot. Otherwise it's black all around it.
That's green.
Green.
Purple.
Yeah, that looks good.
Red. I think purple's actually the one. Now if you see anything, let us know. Figures. Maybe in the fields.
Just get the fence reading.
All right, okay.
I think it's just in the front.
Right.
See more.
Now when we're walking back like this, watch out for any figures, watch out for anything that you may see. Because you've got to remember thousands, I mean literally thousands of Romans walked from the bridge where we've just been along here to Chollerford. Now the main Chollerford bridge is at the other end of this long, I think claustrophobic little walkway. It's not so bad here because it's wide enough for Tony and I to walk side by side. And then you come to that little narrow track where you can touch both sides with your hands. But for the amount of Romans that were in this part of the world, and of course, because the Romans were here, every tribe that hated the Romans were also here trying to get shot of them. So battles, massacres, rapes, murders, and the trees seem to sing that, don't they? Look at them. These trees up here, they don't look friendly in any shape or form, do they? Come on, if there's anybody here, make yourself known. I don't want this show to be remembered because I went knee deep in a bog. I want to see something. We're heading to a turret next, and I don't know whether you can see those cars in the distance, but they're roughly where it is, but we've got to go a mile back to grab the car to come and take us. And here we are at another one of those gates, and we've heard the Necromancy being very, very busy, but we haven't heard anything that we couldn't explain. We haven't seen anything, and that's fair enough. Tony, come through this gate's broken by the looks of things. Now I understand. Right, and this is the track. Now, you know, I was telling you that the weir that I wanted to show you, and we will be able to see it from the bridge towards the George, the weir was put in place to try and stop the river building up too much steam, because when it's rained a lot, and it has up in the hills recently, the amount of sheer gallonage of water builds up to such a degree that incredible floods happened. And there was a flood, the Great Flood of 1771. Now, this was an amazing event. Oh, blimey, look at that. You see how spooky that is in the distance? Just look down that.
Yeah.
Can you see it, everybody? Can you see, just see how long that goes?
Margaret thought she saw a black silhouette of a man flash in the car.
Wow. Nice one, Margaret. Well done. I told you about that battle of Heavenfield. We're in the middle of what some people believe is Heavenfield. The battle returned Christianity to Northumberland, and the bridge was swept away on a number of occasions. I mentioned 1771, yet way back, this was the crossing site for Romans. It was called Chester's Bridge, 600 yards away from Chollerford, and we're walking that 600 yards now. But all of the rivers, the River Tyne, the River Tees, the River Wear, and the River Eden, due to a sudden thaw of ice and snow in the mountains, and also a cloud burst that lasted 4 days non-stop on the Pennines, created this massive tsunami wave that swept down the River Tyne. 25 people died, 52 bridges were destroyed, including the Tyne Bridge. The Tyne Bridge at the time was a bridge where the swing bridge is now, and it was full of shops on both sides of the single road leading into Newcastle. That was the main Roman Tyne Bridge to Pons Aelius. Now, Chester's Bridge, where we've just been, Hadrian was there. Hadrian crossed that bridge. Can you believe it? It's amazing. We talk about the Tyne Bridge. Do you remember when we went to Yarm, Tony? Yarm, we loved our time at Yarm. Do you know that in the Great Flood of 1771, Yarm was 8 feet underwater? Yarm's like a little island surrounded by a river, and it was totally swamped. The shambles in Yarm were washed away. As I say, the Newcastle Bridge collapsed. And there's a couple of really good stories about, oh, look at this. So just proof that we've got lots of little tributaries. Now, it hasn't rained particularly here. We've had a little bit of one-day snow, but not heavy rain. And the tributaries are hammering this kind of water in. And there's thousands of them that run along the banks of the river, gorging it and make, oh, figure at the end. Look at that. I can see it. Can you see it? Move over here, Tony. Do you see it? Look, end of the beam. Can you see anything? Yeah. Ah, I just wish we could walk and see it more clearly. What the hell? Tantalising. You never know whether it's just your imagination running away with you as the temptation sign for money. Oh, come on. If there's anything here. The lights you can see, I don't know whether if you take that off, if you're looking on the screen now, you see just a white light at roughly 10 o'clock. That is the George at Chollerford. So the bridge is just in front. But this, look at that. And I can't get over how angry looking these blasted. Just heard a voice behind me, just up here. Tony. Oh, something's just, are you getting movement up there? Are you keeping it on the top?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't moved.
What the hell? Just heard a voice from there. It was kind of like,
I heard a whisper.
yeah, that's what I got. You also actually get a feeling that you're being followed, but I haven't heard any footsteps, only ours.
Probably the water's.
That could be that.
The water's there as well.
Yeah, you see the bridge, the vehicles crossing, so we're not too far away. Now, I was telling you about that great flood of 1771, and this was a massive thing in Newcastle. And apparently there was a guy who had a building, a shop on the bridge, and he told his servant girl, now the bridge is being pounded, there's already a hole in it, there's already water splitting it and making buildings crash into the River Tyne. Around that time, you know Newcastle pretty well, Tony. Bottom of the big market, beside where Queen Victoria's statue is, outside of the cathedral. There was a tall ship there that had been washed up from the river. Now, That's right
Funny,
up that
that's
bank.
far up,
It's
yeah.
a long way up. And that's how the story goes. Now, this guy saw his building being washed away, but he needed his books so that he knew how much people owed him and who he had to bill, otherwise his business was finished. He sent his servant girl in. She didn't come back in time. So he raced in to try and grab her and grab the book, money being the root of all evil. And the pair of them drowned. Just a couple of the 25 that perished. It started off where the quayside, and I've lived in Newcastle long enough to have seen the quayside flood like 5 or 6 inches deep with water. I've seen Morpeth 8 to 9 inches flooded deep with water. But I can't imagine the power of water that could drive a tall ship all the way up that bank, past the Dogleap stairs, and you know, that's a hellish.
A lot of water.
And that's what it was back then. And we should also actually scope, because these are Heaven's Fields, you know, a lot of people believe this is just part of where the Battle of Heaven's Fields were. And you see this, you look down here, you see signs of where, because that's, if you see that, that's not natural, it's been carved. So all the way along here, a road used by the Romans getting ready to build Hadrian's Wall and defend it. And we're going to a place built by the 9th Legion of Rome. But there's one amazing, and you know, every now and then you hear people talk about miracles, and there is an absolute miracle. Have I passed that tree that took my head off? I'm not sure we have yet.
Take a long walk back.
It is.
It
Could be anywhere along here.
all looks the same. Could be anything.
It does, absolutely. But no, people talk about miracles a bit, and there was a miracle with the Great Flood of 1771 in Newcastle. The people closer to the sea, you know, the people at Jarrah, Wallsend, North Shields, South Shields, they saw this huge tsunami of water piling down the valley floor. The River Tyne, as angry as it ever was. No wonder the Tyne god outside Newcastle Civic Centre is looking so dishevelled and sad. But after the flood was over, after it was starting to die down and people were able to get back in their homes along the banks of the river, a couple of people were walking along the riverside looking for bodies, if truth be told, because no, there you can see where I hit my head, Tony. Do you see it?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Getting lower.
I just had my torch on the floor and I walked straight into it, took my hat off, cut my head. Happy days. It's already been a stonking night for me so far. But no, I walked straight into that. That was.
I'm surprised I missed that because it's quite low down.
Because if you got your torch low, yeah, it is. It's just there was a sticky out spiny thing that stuck in my head. Yeah, it's definitely that one. That's what I walked onto. That thing there. Nasty damn thing. Look at it. Everything looks. If you had to design spooky, you'd end up. Hasn't it? There looks like there's more there, Tony. I don't know whether you can make it out. Can you see it?
Oh yeah, there's definitely a wall or
Yeah.
bricks.
And if it's not Roman built, it would have been probably a farmer pinching some of them from Roman buildings. But no, I keep telling you about this damn miracle. I will get there eventually. People were walking around the side of the river. Now, some of them, although they wouldn't admit it, were looking for dead bodies. And if you found a dead body, well, you robbed it, because money was no use to them anymore, was it? Well, in this particular case, they found a wicker basket. This was on Jarrow slacks. They found a wicker basket. They went down to the river and they says, oh, we'll have that. That's obviously from somebody's house. Somebody's baby would have probably slept in that. And when they opened up the wicker basket, there was a baby aged about 3 months old in it. It had been washed all the way down to Jarrow from Hexham, which is about 4 miles from here. So that baby rode the wave of the flood, surfed all the way from here. Now that's a hell of a journey in a wicker basket. Wow. And the fact that she survived at all, I think, is an absolute miracle. A real, genuine miracle. We're nearly there now, everybody. There's the bridge that we're coming to. Now the George at Chollerford, that's what all the lights are over yonder. The George, an old coaching inn since the 1700s. But it wasn't like your standard coaching inn, which most of them were bawdy houses. The George was quite a posh one. They didn't allow heavy drinkers. Unlike most of the other coaching inns. And Chollerford, exactly where the George is, and this place here where the bridge is, before there was a bridge, in 1297, William Wallace and his men piled down from Scotland, crossing the ford that used to be here, and burnt Hexham to the ground. Hexham burnt. Everybody in Hexham killed or ran away. William Wallace proving that he was the man to lead Scotland. And that happened right here. The coaching house, as I say, unlike most coaching houses, quite a swanky one. But do you know this? Now, a lot of people say, oh, Hexham, a lot of money in Hexham, posh people, green wellies, all of that. They wouldn't wade in the mud down to their thigh. Hexham, back in the day, back in the time of William Wallace, the 1200s, 1300s, into the 1400s, people believed that Hexham was rough, wild, like a cowboy town. And there was two phrases, because people believed that Hexham was hell. You're not going to Hexham, are you? You'll be killed. It's so dangerous. Vagabonds, robbers, reivers, Scots, Picts, Irish, Welsh, people from other counties, other countries, piling in to rob and steal, rustle, poach. And Hexham was the centre of it. And the two phrases were, to Hexham with you. If you wanted to insult somebody, you wouldn't say to hell with you, you'd say, to Hexham with you. And if you wanted somebody to leave you alone, you'd say, go to Hexham. And how weird is that? Because I don't know about you, but I always think Hexham's fairly well-to-do in the grand scheme of the northeast. I nearly walked into a tree. And it's another one of those wild trees. Let's get up. I knew this was going to be a bit of a battle, but here we go. Now, I told you about that weir that now helps control the river. You can hear it, but I'll show it to you from the bridge, as much of it as you'll be able to see in the torchlight. Now, if you want to come here to Chollerford to follow in our footsteps, don't follow in all of them, okay? You've got to walk to the opposite end of the bridge to the George Hotel on the right-hand side, and you'll see this sign next to the traffic lights here. Built for Hadrian in AD 122. Amazing, isn't it? And you can see where we were. There. This isn't here, remember, this is where we were, back down the road. And Romans marching, chariots, cavalry, up and down here. Amazing. Sorry?
Open during daylight hours.
Well, it does say on the internet open 24 hours, but... No, I think that's true. You go first, because you're going to have a look at that.
I think we have to
Weir, is there not? Oh, you want to see the weir though, Tony, so you need to be here? Yeah, just to here. And I'll try and light it up for you. Oh no, there's little walkie bits in here. Can you get in one? Oh, probably the next one. Yeah, oh there it is. Can you make that out at all?
Not really.
You can hear it.
Black.
You see the power of the water though, can't you?
See a little bit further.
Where the torch is.
Yeah.
Watch yourself. Pull yourself in, Tony. A couple of wagons going by. The way they're coloured, it looks like holidays are coming, doesn't it? And they are indeed.
Yeah, you can see this side, the reflection and stuff.
Yeah.
Very calm this side.
Beautiful. Oh, did you see that? There's something flying.
Oh yeah. Pretty big, whatever it is.
If that's a bat, it's a whopper. Now that's the George that we were telling you about. It was weird because when we were in the car park before, there were hundreds of people. You couldn't get moved. Have you seen it? It's empty now. Now if you go on TripAdvisor, because you fancy a day along Hadrian's Wall and you want to stay in the George, room 304. If you look on TripAdvisor, you'll find a story of a ghost. Someone stayed in room 304. While they were fast asleep, they heard something moving around the room. They saw a black shape move past the curtains, and when it's early in the morning, the last thing you want to see in your bedroom when you're in there on your own is a black shape move past the curtains. But that's what happened right there. And there's also the story of a ghost on the bridge, but it's this end. And I'll tell you the story when we get to the exact position. Whoa! They do get rather close on this bridge. Yeah, man. Now, here, back in the day, this place here, this is where a man shattered his skull. I'm going to take you to where his ghost is said to walk, but if you travel in that direction, roughly, you come to a town called Humshof. Now, Humshof used to have a printer's that was very famous in Humshof back in the late 1800s. Now, during the Napoleonic Wars, when we were obviously fighting against Napoleon and the French, Waterloo and all of that, the printer in Humshof came up with an idea to print French money. The money that they had back in the day, which was Like our pound notes were approximately that size and they were white. The French had similar currency that was about this size and white. So the people in Humshoff, the printer of Humshoff, decided that they'd print French money and they'd send millions worth of French money into France. Now the money wasn't worth anything. It was to flood the economy and ruin the French economy at the time. Did it work? Who the hell knows? The Duke of Wellington was getting the job done on the battlefield. But Humshoff printer did it. But the Humshoff printer himself was bringing a whole batch of... Do you have music there by any chance?
I heard. I don't know what it was.
That might be the very noise that a printer would make on a horse and cart, bringing millions of French printed monies to Newcastle. He came here, one horse, cart laden full of money. The horse got onto this bridge, reared up, threw him off. He hit his head on this side of the bridge and he died just there. No bloodstains at present, but that's where he lost his life. Now, with respect to that, the horse and the cart headed off across the bridge, up and beyond. He was buried, taken back to Humshoff. I think there's some people unloading a lorry at the far end. But if you come down here, I'll show you where this printer's ghost was seen. And I'm saying for between 50 and 60 years regularly spotted, to the degree that the printer's own family used to come down to from Humshoff here to Chollerford, go down by the river and spend time with his ghost. And you've got to actually come down here and turn right. So just bear with me. We'll see if we can get down here. I think you can. Now, back in those days, there was a coaching in here. I'm not even sure whether it was the George or not. Down here. And the family of the printer used to come down. Now, I know they say no unauthorised people, but I don't know whether you can see. We're under an old Victorian lamp here. There's the bridge. Can people see that?
Yes, it's amazing.
Well, they used to come down here to the riverbank, just here. And this is where the ghost of the printer was spotted, along this bank. Now, they say uneven, slippery surface. Knowing my luck, I would be in the water and heading down to Jarrah Slack. But it's just on this bank. The family used to come, sit, staring up at the bridge, and talking with her dead husband. And she said that the dead husband used to talk back to her down here, which makes me think, as of a place to necromance, maybe this is the right one. Aye, necromance, why not then, eh? Let's try it. Come. Are you there, printer?
Red.
Love you too. That light looks like it's absolute of the time of the printer, doesn't it, Tony?
I know. Wow.
Did you come down here and talk to your wife? Did you talk to your wife? Not getting very much, I have to say. Yeah, sure. Right, everybody, we'd love you to come with us. We're heading towards where we're going to carry out. We got Suki in the car waiting to come and join us. Suki is a piece of apparatus that can let us know if there's any energy about. We're going to set up a few traps. We're going to sit and listen. We're going to do a proper ghost hunt at the turret, a 2-story building that used to house 5 or 6 Romans with a little fireplace inside and they've found cutlery, and around about it they've found some of the best examples of Roman armour just buried in the grass where they were hacked to death and left lying. We're going to the turret next. If you want to join us, what do they have to do, Tony?
Just hit the link in the video description, and part 2 will be there. If you're not already a member, just join on YouTube and subscribe on Facebook.
It's less than £1 a week. It's an absolute no-brainer. Come join us. Just click, and as soon as you click, you get over 3 years worth of shows. We would love you to come and join us. We've had a different but interesting first hour. A couple of black shapes, a couple of black shadows, little bit of growling or whispering. We want more. Maybe we'll find it in the next hour. Come with us.